Hello, everybody. Let me see here. Yay! I'm going. If you're here live, let me. I'm gonna say let me hear you say hey, but say hello if you're here live. All right. Where's my phone? Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. All right. Hey, everybody. We're gonna make some cookies today. So, all right. We're making cookies. We had a cookie request, and we're getting to it. So I'll go over the recipe as we go. Yay! I see myself. Awesome. I wasn't sure. Okay. All right, you guys. Hey, hey. You put me up higher, even higher, Papa.
I'm gonna have to stack it.
Okay. All right. So thank you so much for watching, you guys. We're gonna make cookies. We're gonna make two different kinds of cookies. And if you know how I bake, I'm kind of like a freestyle baker. I play around with it until I get the recipe the way that I want it. And then I'll share it with you. So if this turns out well, like the banana bread, the camera, not this. If this turns out well, I will share it with you. If it doesn't, you'll see my facial. Hey Z, you'll see my facial response, and you'll be like, okay, I don't really want that recipe. All right, so we got two. The one is gonna be a breakfast cookie. I'm excited about both of these cookies actually. One is gonna be a breakfast cookie, and it's got a little kick. It's got Happy Coffee in it. If you guys are familiar with Ya Organics Happy Coffee, we're going to have a cookie with some coffee in it. And
So we can see the name.
oh, it's Ya Organics Happy Coffee. There we go. So we're going to have one cookie that's going to be, these are both breakfast cookies, but this one's going to give you a little energy kick. And then the other cookie is going to have molasses. It's going to, give you a little iron and have that yummy molasses taste. So we've got two different cookies. We're going to make the base of the cookie is going to be the same, and then we're going to switch out two things to make one Happy Coffee cookies and one molasses cookies. So, all right, so here we go. So we're going to start with the base of the cookie, and that's going to be almond flour. I wish I could see. I'm gonna open this on Facebook, so because I know you guys are watching on Facebook. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Make sure you say hello if you're on Facebook. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you say hello so I'll know you guys are watching. And if you have comments or questions, put them in the chat. I can see both chats. So, all right. So we're gonna start with almond flour. Almond flour. So this cookie is going to not have any processed sugar. It's going to be healthier, but it's still going to have sugar in it. So, well, one's going to have sugar, one's going to have molasses. So it's a better option, but it's not going to be low carb. Last week, hey, Vicky. Last week we did a low carb muffin. This is going to be low-ish. We're going to have sugar in it, though, so it's not. I would not, if you're like counting your carbs and trying to keep them super low, this would be like a treat. This is not going to be super low in carbs. So we're going to go with half a cup of almond flour. Putting that in. And then we're doing half a cup of tapioca flour. You could also use coconut flour. The almond flour is it's a dense flour. So the tapioca flour is lighter. And so it's going to be a good combination. So we're going to do half a cup of tapioca. Half half a cup of tapioca, and then we're gonna add our protein. We're actually adding protein powder. So we're gonna add, this is the protein powder that I have. It's plant-based, so the main ingredient is pea protein. I talked about this last week. You could use a whey protein powder, but I'm using plant-based, and this is actually chocolate flavor. So I think it's about 2 scoops. I'm going, because I want a half a cup, I'm gonna actually scoop it into the measuring cup so I can see. Say hello, you guys. Thanks for watching. So this, I'm gonna put the scoops in here. I think it's half a cup for 2 scoops, but I just want to make sure. Yep, there you go. There's about, so 2 scoops is half a cup of the protein powder. And then I'm going to whisk my flours together. So it's protein powder, almond flour, tapioca flour. And I'm whisking those together. And if you remember, I said that I'm going to make 2 kinds of cookies, and I'm going to split this. So I'm going to mix all of the dry together, then I'm going to split it in half and make 2 different kinds of cookies. So this is what we got so far. Then I need my baking soda. I need to check my recipe. You guys, I made a recipe out. So this is my recipe. My testing recipe right here. Like I said, if these turn out well, then I'll share the recipe with you. If they don't, I'll go back to the drawing board and will not share it. So we need a teaspoon of baking soda. So if you've been baking a while, you know kind of all recipes have the basic same things in them. You know, there's a ratio of flour or wet to dry. So this is basically a 1.5 cups of flour to whatever wet we're gonna have. So baking soda, and what else? It's time to add the sugar. So I'm gonna split this in half now. And it's actually going to be like 3/4 of a cup in each one. There we go. So 2 different kinds of cookies we're making. Let's start with the breakfast cookie. So I'm going to do my wet now. So I'm going to add 1 egg. My butter and my sugar, and then I'm going to cream it. So I've got my egg. Need a trash can. If you're just joining me, guys, we're making cookies today. Got my egg. These are I'm excited for these cookies. So I have made a cookie similar to this in the past, using, what is that name of that stuff? It's instant coffee. What is it called, y'all? It's like Red International something. That instant coffee that tastes like candy. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Did anybody know? Type it in the chat if you know the name of what I'm talking about. Is that International coffee? It's an instant coffee in like a little tin. But I've made espresso cookies with that. And so I was thinking about those cookies, and I was like, oh, you know what? I bet you I could use Happy Coffee to do that. That would be awesome for that energy kick. If you've never had Happy Coffee, it's got ashwagandha. It's got, what else you got here? It's got ginseng. It's got coconut, MCT. So it's got some really good stuff in here, and it gives you like a little kick I don't drink coffee anymore because I just don't have the taste. But I thought this would make a neat, interesting cookie. So that's what we're doing with this. So I've got my egg, I've got my butter, and we're gonna add sugar. Like I said, this is not okay. Where's the sugar? This is not necessarily a healthy or a low carb. It's a healthy cookie, but it's not low carb. So I'm gonna use coconut sugar, which I need to find coconut sugar. I didn't bring it out. Coconut sugar is a better option than like white sugar or white sugar or cane sugar. So I'm using coconut sugar and I'm using 1/4 of a cup. It's a little bit grainier than other sugars, but in it so if you and it has a lower glycemic index. It's not completely low. It's not zero, but if we were to say like regular sugar is 100, then coconut sugar is like 70. So it will still affect your blood sugar. So it's not like it's not say like Splenda. Like Splenda is an alternative to sugar that should not mess with your blood sugar. Well, at least that's what they say. So I'm gonna cream these together. And this is gonna be a little bit of noise, but I want this to be smooth. So I'm actually gonna cream them. Making sure I don't forget anything in my recipe because I'm splitting this. This is kind of tricky. Let's see. Nope, I haven't got anything. I just gotta put this in. Say hello when you join me, you guys. We're making 2 different kinds of cookies today. Let's see here. I am going to cream this. This is the egg, the butter, and the sugar. Hey, Sierra. I'm making cookies, Sierra. So these are breakfast cookies. Let's see how they come out. Okay, so there we go. So I've got, I feel like I'm forgetting something. So here is the powder, the dry. Here is the wet. I'm now going to stir in the wet. Oh, I forgot the happy coffee. That's what I forgot. The whole main ingredient. Hey, Jada. So here we go. Look. Here's the kick. This is the key ingredient in this cookie. It's the happy coffee. And I'm going to put a tablespoon in. Tablespoon of happy coffee. You don't now, again, the happy coffee comes from Ya Organics. Melody LeGrone is the owner, her and her husband. If you don't have happy coffee, you could just use like instant coffee. Yeah, you have to come back, Sierra, and watch it later because I'm hoping these turn out. All right, so here we go. Smells so good. So coffee still smells good, y'all. It still smells. I don't have necessarily the taste for it. It still smells delicious though. And here it goes. It really does. It smells so good. So good. So these cookies are gonna give you energy kick. The happy coffee has, like I said, it's got ashwagandha in it. It's got ginseng. It's got MCT oil. So it's got wonderful ingredients in there for you. I'm just stirring this up. Yeah, it smells so good. So 2 kinds of coffees. So this is a cookie you can eat for breakfast. How about that? I thought that would be fun. Yay! So it turned out really good, you guys. I'm testing out the recipe, so I split it in half. So I'm doing some trickiness here. When I share it with you guys, it will make 12 cookies. All right. Pretty good. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start and bake these, and then we'll finish the other recipe. So gonna put these in. This is my cookie sheet. I love this. This is Silpat. I don't know if y'all can see. This is Silpat, so it's non-stick, and it actually shows the size of 2 different cookies on there. So I'm gonna go for that smaller one because I know they're going to spread a little bit. There we go. And get the knife. All right. So yeah, these are turning out pretty good. These are our breakfast cookies, a healthy cookie. This one, I think kids would definitely enjoy. I'm going to make, I've got plenty here. I'm gonna, I think I'm gonna make, let me turn to y'all. I'm going to make, I've decided cookies for breakfast. I know. I'm going to make a couple of these, and then, I think we're going to take it up. Look, I think we're going to take it up and add some chocolate chips. Who thinks we should add some chocolate chips to these? Because of the protein powder. And Jada, this is a vegan protein powder that I use. So this would be good for you. All you would have to do is, you actually eat eggs. So you would be good with this whole recipe. You can use a plant-based butter, and you would be good to go with this whole recipe. There's nothing else in there. Now, if you didn't eat eggs, you would want to use an egg substitute, like an egg replacer. That would work. All right. So we did some. I'm going to actually add a couple of the chocolate chips. Yes, chocolate chips. I know, right? Absolutely. So you guys, I'm pretty good at measuring. So this right here is about 1/4 of a cup. I'm pretty good at eyeballing. I've been measuring and weighing consistently since 2014, and my eyeball is pretty good. Hey, FY! I am making cookies, and these are breakfast cookies. So they have coffee in them, and the coffee is instant coffee. It's actually Happy Coffee from Ya Organics. So, all right, so we've got, this is a chocolate cookie. Chocolate chip now, a double chocolate cookie. A double chocolate cookie for breakfast? Come on. Woo! This is, smells so good. So I've got that whole yummy coffee smell, and now I can smell the chocolate. It's making a lot of cookies, you guys. I'm surprised. Okay. I really want to eat this. I want to taste it, but it's got the raw egg in it. If the eggs were from my friend who has her own chickens, I would eat the eggs, but these is Eggland's best eggs. And I'm not risking it. All right, so we've got I think I can get 2 more cookies out of this. And then we're going to move on to our next cookie. What flour am I using? I've got almond flour, tapioca flour, and protein powder is the base for these cookies. And I'll show you as soon as I get this in, I will show you that, you guys, that. My favorite protein powder, my favorite vegan protein powder is actually Just Move. Just Move protein powder is by far the best vegan protein powder I have ever tasted. It is delicious. My plan B, or my second favorite, is the one I'm using today. So I'm taking this and putting this in the oven, guys. It's going in. It's probably going to be like 8 minutes because those are pretty small. I'm going to set the timer so I don't burn them up. Okay, so this is my second favorite protein powder here. Costs. It's organic plant protein. The main ingredients are pea protein and coconut milk. And this is chocolate. So that is where we're getting the chocolate taste. I could have added more cocoa. Can you? Yes, absolutely. You can sub out almond flour. The reason that I'm using, you can sub out oat flour. The reason I'm using almond flour is because oats are a grain, and I know a lot of you guys are trying to limit your grains. So I used almond flour, but I love oat flour, and it has a different taste than almond flour too. Oat flour is lighter. The texture is lighter than almond flour, which is also beneficial. All right, so I'm gonna go over what we've got in the oven so far. So we're making two cookies. One has coffee in it, and the other is gonna be a molasses cookie. Our flours are almond flour, plant protein, and tapioca flour. You could use coconut flour, you could use oat flour. What else? You could use, I have not baked with chickpea, but there's chickpea flour. I haven't baked with it yet. I don't know. I feel like chickpea flour has a very strong smell. I'm making, well, hey, glory roll is important. I'm making cookies, Latara. I'm making cookies. So the first cookie is an energy cookie. It's a breakfast cookie with happy coffee in it. So here we go. All right, so that first cookie is in the oven. We're gonna go with the second cookie right now, and that cookie is gonna be molasses. So here is our flour base, and it's the same. I used the same base. I made one and I split it in half, and now we're gonna make the molasses cookie. So I've got the butter I used. So this whole recipe would call for a half a cup of butter. I split it in half. I'm gonna use the other half for the molasses cookies. So we got that. We've got the egg. I did not split the egg in half, but the recipe, when I give you the recipe, is going to have one egg in it. Yep. I should have tagged Melody. I should have told her. I didn't even think about that. I'll send it to her later. All right, so here we go. We've got our butter, we've got our egg, and we're gonna put our molasses in. So the only sweetener I'm using in these is going to be molasses. So this is not going to be a super sweet cookie. Oh my gosh, I love. Y'all, the smell of molasses, so good. So good. Oh my goodness. So between the coffee and the chocolate, so many yummy smells. And I am going to go heavy on the molasses. I think I'm gonna do 3 tablespoons. We'll see. That might be too much. If you don't really love the taste of molasses, that's probably too much for you. So I know I love molasses. So when I was growing up, my grandma used to make homemade biscuits, and we would have biscuits and molasses. That's so good. So yummy. All right. Okay. And then I'm going to cream this. Instead of just stirring, I'm going to cream it. So I'm going to use the blender again. Add the powder. Alrighty. Let's see here. Okay. It's like, oh, so many good smells. I got, those cookies are looking so good. All right. So, like I told everybody, if you've been watching from the beginning, I said that if this recipe turns out, I will share it with you. If it doesn't, because I'm testing this recipe. If it does not turn out, we will wait and see. And I will not share until I get it together, until I get it right. So this is a little wet. So because I split that recipe, you guys, I said I split the recipe, and I'm using, because I did one here and one there, I used 2 eggs. So I've got a little bit more liquid, that and the molasses. I've got a little bit more liquid than I would want. And it's not bad. I'm going to show you. But this is watery for a, woo! It smells so good. This is watery for a cookie. It's not bad, but I am going to add so good. It smells so good. I'm going to add, do I want to add almond flour? I'm going to add tapioca flour because it's going to be light. Where did I put it? There we go. I'm going to add a tablespoon of tapioca flour just so they don't run too bad. All right. So the sweetener for the first batch of cookies was coconut sugar. The sweetener for this batch of cookies is molasses, and molasses only. Now, if you were making just, molasses cookies, they usually have sugar and molasses. And I'm not doing that. I'm just going with the molasses. So this is a healthier version. We're eliminating the sugar. This cookie is actually going to be low carb because the only sweetener we have in it is the molasses. And let's look at the carbs in molasses. 10 sugars, 14 carbs, and a tablespoon. So we added 3. So I wouldn't call this low carb. I wouldn't call it low carb. That's not low carb. It's going to be a healthy cookie because it doesn't have processed sugar, but it's not low carb because we're going to have probably, I don't know, maybe 10 cookies. And so you're going to divide that by 10 cookies by the total carbs. So you're going to have like, I don't know, about 30 divided by 10. Woo! Woo! So here we go. Here they are. I feel like they look a little soft still, but they're not. They're not. They're bouncing back. They fooled me. Look at that. Ooh, I love a silk hat, y'all. Can you see how those cookies are just sliding off of there? That's awesome. I'm glad. So we're going to take them off and put them on here to cool. Our first batch of cookies is done. And these are the energy cookies. These are our breakfast cookies. We can have both of them for breakfast, but that's hard to do with one hand. Here they go. Okay, I'm just going to pick them up. See how easily they come off with the silk hat? They have these on Amazon. I got this one from Costco in a pack of, let's see, there were 2 big ones and 2 small ones. It makes, baking so easy. Cookies and what else do we make on this? I make all types of stuff on it. I bake and so here we go. Here they are. I'm gonna let them cool off. I really want to taste one. I'm gonna let them cool off a little bit. We're gonna go ahead and put down the next batch of cookies. And these are the molasses cookies. I'll do it over here. Here, oh, you guys can't even see that. Oh well. Okay, so want a different spoon. Okay, we'll see how many we can get with this one. These are our molasses cookies. So these would be breakfast cookies. Remember, I told you guys if you made the banana muffins, you can enter all the ingredients into an app like MyFitnessPal and then divide it by the amount that you make, and it's going to give you the exact macronutrients and micronutrients for each serving. So if you make 12 muffins, it'll give you, and say one muffin is a serving, it's going to give you the macronutrients and micronutrients per serving. It'll do the same with the cookie. So you want to do however many cookies you make. You want it to be one. Can you eat this? Stacy, let me see here. Let me think here. What can you not eat, Stace? So if you have celiacs, you are avoiding grains. And that is one of the reasons that I use the almond flour. But Stacey, you can't have eggs. So you would want to sub out eggs. And I think everything else you can have. I'll go over it. So this pan was hot, you guys, so these are running a little bit. In a perfect world, I would have used a different pan, but I ain't doing all that. So in they go. These are not as pretty because they're running because it's hot, and they're going to be delicious. I can smell them. So let me think, though. Let's go over states. So celiacs, you cannot have grains of any kind, and that's going to include things like there are so many things that aren't called grains but have grain in them. But this recipe's got butter. If you're making the first one I made with Happy Coffee. You could use any instant coffee, and Happy Coffee does not have grains in it. Looking at that, butter, sugar, egg, Happy Coffee, tapioca flour, protein powder, almond flour, baking soda, and chocolate chips. So yes, but you want to make sure you get chocolate chips that are gluten-free. And they definitely have those. We have them a lot here in the house when AJ's eating chocolate chips and cares about the gluten. There's gluten in Nestle chocolate chips, which I have, but that doesn't bother him. If you're being strict, like you're probably being strict, you want to get the gluten-free chocolate chips. And Nestle makes one, and it says allergy friendly on the bag. So yes, you can do that. I didn't set the timer for this. I'm gonna make sure I set the timer. All right, so I feel like this first batch of cookies is probably cool. Let's test them out. Let's taste them. So I've got two kinds. I made one with chocolate chips and one without. I think this is one without the chocolate chips. Nope, this does. It smells good. Smells really good. Okay, we're gonna taste it. This is the cookie with the sugar, not the molasses. The molasses cookies are in the oven. Good. It tastes, it still tastes, even though it doesn't have molasses in it, it has that rich flavor like molasses, which is probably coming from the chocolate protein powder. That's what it is. But they're good. They're good. They're really good. Yeah, my kids are probably gonna want to eat these. Tony will eat these too. Okay. Yeah, and I just got chocolate chips. They're good. I like them, y'all. So this is our first breakfast cookie. It's gonna have your little energy kick because it's got the happy coffee in it. Mm. 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 Tasty. Mm-hmm. Mm. So our first cookie is a double chocolate happy coffee cookie because we got the chocolate and the chocolate chips. Mm. That's good. Okay. So that's a thumbs up. You're going to want that recipe. You are going to want that recipe. So, next bag. That is good. That is good. And it has a half a cup of sugar in it. So the things you're going to want to watch out for in that one is going to be the sugar. I use coconut sugar, but it does have sugar in it. It's got a low amount, but it does have sugar in it. So when I say a half a cup of sugar, that's going to be the total amount of sugar in the whole recipe. So I split the recipe up. So I didn't use a whole half a cup of sugar when I did it. I used a fourth because I split it. I know that's probably confusing, but when you get the final recipe and you're just making one, like you're just making the happy coffee cookies, then you're gonna have a half a cup of sugar in all those cookies. So it's gonna be pretty good as far as the ratio of sugar in your individual cookie or in individual serving size. I made the cookies pretty small, so I would probably do 2 as a serving. That's up to you. But that's what I did for those. We've got a little bit more time. We've got 5 seconds left, or 5 minutes left on the molasses cookies before we see how those turned out. Those were more of a freestyle. I hadn't made molasses cookies without sugar in a long time. So we'll see how those turn out. And they did not, and we didn't put chocolate chips in those. All right, so what else? So we made cookies. Other things you can add to cookies. I like making cookies for breakfast because it seems like something, fun or you shouldn't do. But you can put a lot of different things in a breakfast cookie. Like I've made them with carrots, like shredded carrots, pineapple, pumpkin, sweet potato, what else? Those are just a couple of the ones that I made for a breakfast cookie. I will say my kids are not a fan of having a shredded carrot in their cookie because when I made it as a breakfast cookie, it was big enough that you could actually see the shredded carrot. When you make like a pumpkin, that's the actual pumpkin puree. So you don't it's just the color. So they do like those. You can also make muffins for breakfast. Both of those, cookies and muffins, freeze really well. So you can make a nice quantity and then you can freeze them and take them out later. So when we talk about like prepping meals ahead, you don't have to prep and then eat that same week. You can prep and then freeze. So one thing I did like last week when I made those banana muffins, I made a lot. And I didn't eat. I only ate one for breakfast. And the kids, they'll eat they're not going to eat the same thing lots of days in a row. They just don't like that. So they had the ones who like bananas. They had them like 3 or 4 times, and then everybody was done with the banana muffins. So I could have froze them. I did not remember to freeze them, so they ended up going bad. But I could have froze them if I had remembered to freeze them. So just think about that too. You can bake once and then eat for a while. And even if you don't want to eat the same thing over and over again, like you might not want to make something on Sunday and eat it the whole week. You can eat it like 3 times every other day and then freeze some of it so you can have it later because they freeze well. I like to take them out of the freezer at night and then let them unthaw in the refrigerator. You could also microwave them. But a lot of stuff, like especially muffins, I feel like they don't really do the microwave well. So we got 2 minutes left. Oh, and they spread. Those cookies, they spread. Alrighty, we'll see how they turn out. We got a couple more minutes on the molasses cookies. I'm looking forward to those though because molasses is delicious. What other kinds of recipes should we do? You guys, last night I made a cheesecake, strawberry cheesecake, where I made like a cheesecake mixture and stuffed them in strawberries because I wanted cheesecake. That was really good. And it was just cream cheese, plain Greek yogurt that I creamed together and added some stevia and then stuffed it inside strawberries when the strawberries are really sweet. So that was really good. And that's something that I do want when I want cheesecake, but I want to go through all the steps of make because I can make a homemade cheesecake that's low carb, but there's a lot of steps to that because that base is the tricky part with the cheesecake. So I can do that, but I was like, I don't want to do all that. I just want the strawberry and the cheesecake taste. So I went ahead and made that. I'll show you what this inside this stuffing part looks like. It just looks like this. If y'all can see that. Probably not that well. Actually looks like frosting. But it's cream cheese and plain Greek yogurt and stevia mixed together, and it just makes that cheesecake. I'm actually going to use this to make a blueberry bar that I'm making. So the blueberry bar will be low carb. It will actually have keto-like members. So I'll share that with you guys when I'm done too, because that one's going to be good. I've been working on trying to figure out, there's a certain bar that I want to mimic. And so I've been working on that. All right, so here we go. These are coming out and you can see they are big. They are spread everywhere. Probably used more molasses than I should have. We will see if these are even done. They're separating okay. Let's see if they're bouncy to the touch. They are done. They just spread. They smell delicious. You guys can see that. So we're gonna go ahead and get these off the cookie sheet so they stop cooking. Turn that off. All right, so I'm gonna put these to the side. And then take our molasses cookies off. I'm definitely gonna taste them so you guys will know how they turned out. Put them up there so they can cool off. Yeah, they turned out really, they ran. They really spread out, but they cooked fine. They're coming off easy. That Silpat really helps with that. They're pretty big too. So definitely could have made these smaller. And you guys see that I made a lot of cookies with that recipe. So I split the recipe in half. I should have made smaller cookies with the molasses cookies as well. So look at that. That's a lot of cookies. You see, there's a lot of cookies. Okay. Here we go. Testing the molasses cookie. It's hot. It smells good. Maybe we should have added chocolate chips to this one too. I mean, like, can you ever add too many chocolate chips to stuff? I don't think you can. Yeah. It kind of did look like a sheet cake. It's good. So many memories. Okay. It's really good. It's sweet too. I shouldn't be surprised. But it's not like I was thinking, oh, it might not be sweet enough without any sugar in it, but it definitely is sweet. The molasses did its thing. Definitely is sweet. So what I should have done is add ginger and cinnamon. That's what I should have done. I forgot about that. So it would have had like another layer of flavor to it. It's all molasses. It's not overpowering though. I'm glad I did the 3 tablespoons because it does have a nice molasses. I feel like if it had 2, the molasses wouldn't be as strong, and I'm liking that. I just wish there was another note there, and ginger would have been good. Ginger and cinnamon. I know a lot of people like clove, but that would have been too much for me. I just would have wanted like some ginger and cinnamon. So that's good. It is good, y'all. So they both turned out well. I'll type up the recipe and post it tomorrow. When you have the full recipe, you'll have one recipe that'll make all of these. So you can make them all molasses, or you can make them all the happy coffee cookie, right? So when you do it that way, it's going to be 1 egg. So you won't have this running problem with the cookies because you'll have less liquid because you only have 1 egg. So it's so good. I feel like I'm eating a lot of cookies, so I'm eating 2 cookies now though. Yep. Ginger would be good. So when I share that with you guys, it'll have ginger. It'll have a teaspoon of ginger. I'll put that in the final recipe. Maybe I should make those and test it. That's too many cookies to be in this house though. Because I might be the only one who'll eat molasses cookies. I don't know. I'm stuffed now. Okay. So again, our 2 kinds of cookies. Here we go. They turned out good. That turned out really good. That's a lot of cookies though. It's a lot of cookies. Okay, I didn't have dinner though, so I'm full of cookies. Okay, so these are low-ish carb, high protein. They do have high protein. That is for sure because we use a whole serving of protein powder. So there's 20 grams of protein in this. There's also protein in almond flour. So this is a high protein cookie. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yes. So we've got 32 grams of protein in this batch of cookies. So you're going to divide that by the total amount of cookies to get your protein per cookie, but that's going to be a high protein cookie compared to like, I don't know, regular chocolate chip cookies. So that's exciting. So they're high protein, low-ish carb, like low-ish. So like not as high as a regular cookie, but if you're doing keto, you still don't want to eat these cookies because we did have a sweetener in them. We had sugar, coconut sugar in one, and molasses in the other, and they both of those have carbs in them. So this is a high protein cookie. It's going to be good for breakfast because it's going to give you the energy kick, or it's going to give you the nutrients from the molasses. Molasses has got iron in it and other good stuff. It's got potassium, B6. That's awesome. So good. Yeah, so good stuff in molasses. I think that's it, you guys. So thanks for watching. Let me know. Make sure you let me know in the comments if you what else you want me to make. Like, what's the next thing that we want to try? There's so many types of cookies that we could do. So we could also do specific cookies. The next recipe I do, I can use oat flour. Stacey, you do not want to use oat flour unless you use you can use oats that are gluten-free. So I think you can just have gluten-free oats. So I think celiacs, I think you can have oats as long as they're gluten-free. and you want to make sure that they're, when you buy them, it says certified gluten-free. Oats is something that's highly cross-contaminated, so you want to make sure it's got it right there on the bag. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you let me know what the next recipe you want me to try is, and I will see you guys next week.